Hey guys, so I am still sick and back with Sector 3 for you for this Conquest. So we're unlocking Trench, and I am so excited to go over this sector because I think this might be one of the easiest sectors to get through in terms of getting the feats done. There's so many that you're going to be able to overlap, and you're going to be able to take advantage of mechanics here that are just perfect. Anyway, so we're going to hop into it. I'm going to show you some ideas. It's going to be really quick because a lot of it is really self-explanatory, and a lot of it you're going to be able to do with one team. So let's have a look at the feats before we hop into the actual gameplay video. Okay, so really quickly, you need to defeat 50 enemies with non-separatist droid units. Pretty straightforward. So obviously you're not going to do your separatist wins and this one at the same time. But like I said, pretty straightforward. Attempt to inflict blind 60 times. Again, really straightforward there. Win 14 battles with no support units in your squad. That is going to be great while you're making your way through the sector, just being cognizant of who you're using. And then gain master's training 50 times. So important to keep in mind, Hermit Yoda is the only character who's going to give you master's training. He also is support, so you're not going to be able to do no support and master's training at the same time. You are, however, able to do all 3 feats except for the no support units at the same time, and we're going to go over that shortly. All right, guys, so I want to start with something pretty straightforward, which is just no support units. And this is going to double dip for your separatist wins, for your global feat. So instead of taking Newt here, normally I would take him as my 5th. I learned today that he is technically a support unit. So instead of taking Newt, I'm just going to sub in Django, and that way we can bring another attacker. It's a full separatist squad. So we'll get a tick towards the 40 separatist wins that we need globally, and then we'll also get a tick towards 14 wins without any support units in our squad for this sector. I'm trying to make it so that I can double dip as much as possible. I don't want to have to go back and farm these feats elsewhere if I don't have to. So if you can also kind of think about that when you're making your way through the sectors, it's really helpful. Obviously, you're not going to go through and use Grievous on every single squad. It's not necessarily going to be the cleanest. Like, this one is not a clean fight for me. So I will potentially have to clean this node up later on. But getting one of these done while I'm making my way through the sector is a win. And then obviously you can tweak this, like no support. So you could take in a full Jedi attacker team. You could take in your CLS squad and leave out the support character, like leave out C3PO and add Princess Leia, for example. Anything like that's going to help you progress on the 14 wins, especially because you can't double dip this with the master's training feat anyway. So you might as well just kind of make your way through and get it done as quickly as possible, and that will count for both this sector and for the globals. Okay. And then the other one that I wanted to show you is also going to be a double dip. I've been doing this now against the Bad Batch nodes. Normally I run just a straight CLS team. But what I want to do instead is run it with R2D2 lead, which is no leader. So it's going to dip for that for your leadership, no leadership ability global feat. We're bringing C3PO with R2 instead of CHUPIO, and that's going to double dip for R2 and C3PO needing to be on a team for your global feat. Obviously, we're going to get through this node relatively quickly because it's the same idea. You're going to shoot Echo first, get rid of Echo if possible, and then make your way through the Bad Batch. But what's really great is R2D2 is a support unit, and because I'm using Zealous Ambition discs, if he gets any kills in, which he will get a couple, he is able to tick that as a kill for non-separatist droids in this sector. So we're double dipping there as well, which makes it a little bit easier to kind of make our way through without being so grindy. So we've gotten 2 kills with non-separatist droids so far. Okay, so let's have a look at this mini boss. And this mini boss has a modifier on it. I want to show you my tallies here. So we've got 11 blinds so far, 4 Master's Training, and 2 non-separatist droid kills. So this is on the mini boss, and this team I found was really, really smooth. I did try it with Jedi Master Luke, and I found that the CLS squad was just so much smoother. So you're essentially taking CLS minus 3PO, and instead you're going to bring Hermit Yoda. I wanted to shoot Adrad first just to kind of, you want to try and get the side characters out as quickly as possible. And I'm going to actually just fast forward this for 1 second. So the idea is you want to get the sides out as quickly as possible so that they are not killing you. They do hit harder than you think they will, so just try and get rid of them as quickly as possible. And essentially what you're going to do with this team is, you can see here, Scarif Rebel Pathfinder has this lovely buff on him. It is not a bug. It is the modifier on this battle. So they all earn a buff called Cornered, which comes on when they drop below, I believe it's 40% health. And if they drop below that, they earn this bug Cornered. Scarif Rebel Pathfinder revives when you kill him if he has any buffs. So again, it's not a bug, it's the modifier that's on the battle. This is working as intended, and all we're doing is taking advantage of this this modifier. So there's no way, once you're stuck here at this point with this team in particular, you're not going to win because you can't kill Scarif Rebel Pathfinder. So you will time out. But essentially, we're going to get non-separatist droid kills in because of Chupio. We're going to get Master's Training in because of Hermit Yoda here. And we're going to get Blind in because of Chupio. So we're just farming these away essentially for the full 10 minutes. And you're going to go the whole time. I did misclick several times throughout this fight. I just got into the habit of hitting basic. So I missed a few blinds. I missed a few Master's Training, which is totally, I think, normal. I will say I would recommend doing this manually, not on auto. You can do it on auto, but sometimes when you play this on auto, it doesn't prioritize doing Master's Training, so you also won't get as many that way. So keep that in mind. That said, I know several people who have used this team as well, even several in my guild that we were all talking about it today. And they did it on auto, and it took 2 battles instead of 1. Some people did the feats in 1 battle, playing it manually. So totally up to you in terms of how you want to do it. But essentially, you're just going to keep hammering on Scarif Rebel Pathfinder until you run out of time. The one thing that I will say I noticed is obviously a lot of the kills get stolen from Chupio because Han's taking them, CLS is taking them, etc. But all in all, it seems like a really good way to get these 3 feats done relatively quickly. Obviously, it's a 10-minute fight, so relatively quickly. But you're getting them all done on 1 battle node. You don't have to look for a specific enemy node because, again, it's the mini boss, so we all have access to it. So it's fantastic. And yeah, that's basically it. I'm just going to speed it up even more because it is legitimately just 10 minutes of hitting Scarif Rebel Pathfinder. But like I said, I misclicked quite a few times on Chupio and Hermit Yoda for Master's Training and Blind, so I did miss a few from them. But overall, it was relatively simple once you've gotten Radis out of the way. I really wanted to focus on him, like I said at the beginning, first, because once he's dead, then you can kill Jyn, and Jyn obviously is going to be reviving everyone as long as she's there. So getting them out of the way as quickly as possible. And then you just want to make sure that Scarif Rebel Pathfinder has this buff on him, so trigger it on him before you kill him. And then that way you can get stuck in this loop here and get as many blind and Master's Training in as possible this way. So you'll see, not only do we get a few in, we've timed out. I also finished my defeat at least 500 enemies feat at the same time globally. So it's a good way to rack that up as well. So we got a ton of blind. We're at 39. We are at 20, almost halfway on the Master's Training, and 12 of the droid kills. So it's doable. All right, guys. So let's look at the boss again. And we need to win without any support units in our team, because you also need to win with Admiral Ackbar surviving, who is support. But you just have to get through this without any support, which is great because it's going to double dip for the no support units. No support units in the sector feat as well. So I wanted to go with a full attacker Jedi team. You don't need to use Cam, FYI. Just to keep that in mind. I brought him strictly for armor shred and because he's an attacker. So if you don't have him, just sub in another attacker Jedi. But you're going to do essentially the same idea. Get rid of Radis as quickly as possible. And then that way you can get rid of Jin afterwards. I really liked having Jedi Knight Revan for this because obviously Savior is going to be very handy for you as a just-in-case kind of safety net. But you can get around the taunt that Scarifable Pathfinder and K2 put up because now you can mark whoever you want that way with Jedi Knight Revan. And you can obviously cleanse with him, all this great stuff. Jedi Knight Luke lead is really great, so I can slow them down and just kind of try to get out ahead of them before they go too crazy. The key thing to keep in mind is you want to kill Scarifable Pathfinder before he gets that cornered buff, but you don't want to trigger cornered on him, which is why I wanted Jedi Knight Luke to get the kill, because he would be the one doing it. And Jolie is a healer, not a support, so he was great to have as a backup for revives. So that is that for no support in your team. And now we need to win with Admiral Ackbar surviving. So my Ackbar is gear 12. He is not that strong. I will, however, before I pick my team, I'm going to show you really quick the discs that I have on. So 2 gray Zealous Ambition. They're not that amazing. I stacked a couple of Entrenched and a couple Ruthless Offense. I just wanted more survivability. And I do have Volatile Accelerator on just to get more dots on them and kind of kill them a little bit faster that way. That way we can just sort of get out ahead of them because they do hit relatively hard. So again, bam, Scoundrels, and then we're going to take our Ackbar, not Radis, gear 12 Ackbar, and we need to get Dash a turn because he is going to hopefully wipe out the majority of the board here with those Zealous Ambition discs. And like I showed you, I only have 2 gray ones, so if you have better Zealous Ambition than I do, Dash is going to hit harder. So again, went straight for Radis just to kind of knock him down as much as possible. Entrenched is really, I think, helping in terms of keeping Ackbar alive. And then the great thing here with Whistling Birds is with Bam, even though, so you can see he's got his buff, he's got that corner buff, he's going to keep reviving. Whistling Birds prevents revives if that's how they're killed. So this is going to be great if you're stuck. You can just kind of keep going, keep hitting him until Bam can take his turn and go into Whistling Birds again. And then that way you can just kill him that way. So we're in that stance now. We're going to wait for Bam to come back around and take another turn. Ackbar's got some protection stacked. We're not worried at this point. And now Pathfinder will not revive. So also a tip in case you are getting stuck behind that buff, you need something that prevents revives to get through it. All right, so let's have a look at the boss because that's pretty much it. So we need no rebels in our squad, and we also need Han Solo to survive. So again, you're gonna have to do this one twice. And Han Solo goes with my BAM team very nicely. So he's gonna go here. Since he's part of this team, I wasn't too sure who to take as the 5th character. And I ended up choosing to take Kat. The reason why I chose this is because she's going to share her stats with her light side allies, and they're all light side characters. So this Sauna team is annoying. They do hit pretty hard. severely annoying to get through Stormtrooper Han. So I wanted some stat sharing to happen here just to kind of make sure we could get through it okay. So again, we're just waiting for Dash to take his turn because he's got the Zealous Ambition bonus. The great thing here, because they're all scoundrels, is Bam's going to take his bonus turn to put damage immunity out there. And I'm never going to go into Whistling Birds with him, at least not initially, because I want him to be able to prevent anyone from dying. And you can see Dash just wiped the team, so we're okay. But Bam putting that damage immunity out there is going to keep this team going really strongly. Okay, so now we need to do this again, and we need to do it without any rebels in our squad. And as you can see, they're annoying to chew through, and they hit sort of hard, especially Rolo with her AoE. So I figured the safest option would be a Padme team. And obviously we don't want rebels. Normally I would take C-3PO with her, but we don't want rebels. So I'm just going to take another Galactic Republic team or Galactic Republic unit. I ended up picking Ahsoka for the Dispel on her basic so that if Stormtrooper Han taunts, we can hopefully get around that with her and really try to make our way getting Captain Han out first to get rid of the revives, and then we want to get Rolo out. So Ahsoka was good to have an option for dispels there. But yeah, Padme leads. So with this team, you have Padme, Yoda, and Shock all tagged as support units. So they're going to hit a lot harder because of Zealous Ambition, which is fantastic. You can see there. And then you've got Foresight, so we're able to survive a little bit longer. Padme is going to cleanse. You're going to get protection up. It's just a really great way to get through this team, in my opinion, without worrying if you have a Galactic Legend, of course, but also just being survivable. That is the trickiest part of this that I notice, is because they can revive, because Rolo can do her AoE and it hits decently hard, especially once they start killing off your team members. This is a lot more reliable, in my opinion. So again, pretty straightforward, and we're going to hit decently hard because of those Zealous Ambition discs and just get through it without any rebels on the team. And we can 3-star the node and be done with this sector for now. So definitely recommend. And same discs as before. So 2 Zealous Ambition, 2 Entrenched, 2 Ruthless Offense, and a Volatile Accelerator. But Zealous Ambition is the one that's doing the work there. Okay, guys, that's it. Sector 3. I think that was relatively short and sweet, hopefully. And you get an idea of how well things can compound here, and just being really cognizant of trying to double dip, triple dip, quadruple dip if you can, like as many times as possible, makes Conquest much more manageable. It's way less grindy when you do it that way, and just taking advantage, like I said, of specific modifiers and mechanics in the game. I truly don't think they're going to fix the cornered buff on the mini boss in this sector, because it is working as intended, and I don't see why you would fix that. So I wouldn't be worried about them changing it in the upcoming Conquest, and I would plan to take advantage of it again next time. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow for Sector 4.